fatigue. This North Carolina team is exhausted right now. We saw Capel not even be able to go ahead and bend over. He's going to sit down right now. Cota on the floor with double trouble. Not only fatigue, but the 4 fouls that he has on him has really taken away his game the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Florida ball, 6-point lead. They were down 6 in this half.
Forte back in there. Peppers and Owens off the bench. They have got to now not just get some minutes. They have got to be productive for North Carolina. Nice move by Dupay.
Very quick to the basket.
But again, you see what Florida's doing. This is a great job. They're going right at Cota, making him guard somebody, and he cannot afford to pick up that foul.
Dupay makes them pay, and that's his first field goal.
I would say that 10 points have been scored by Cota's man, or the man in his area, since he got that 4th foul, Jim.
Over the top they go. Haywood. Owens has to take it.
Good hustle by Peppers, and he gets fouled by Bonner. Boy, Peppers is some athlete.
Freshman All-America, freshman All-American football, started every game for the North Carolina football team this year.
Jim, in high school, he was a tailback, scored 38 touchdowns, and started the triple jump. You'll see him in football. Hey, wait a second, that's my
Sorry about that. Sorry.
Don't show a Wake Forest sack.
And it's interesting to watch as he now steps to the line, how he's able to transfer some of those football lineman skills, swim moves and quick jumps to the basketball floor, but a costly front-end miss on a 1-1.
Dupay over here with Cota. Action inside, and that's going to be Haywood's. It could have been Harvey's 5th, but this one's going to be Haywood's.
And that will put him in a 1-1.
When you get tired, you start to reach. Your feet don't move quite as quickly, and you try to play defense with your hands instead of your feet, and that's when you pick up the cheap fouls.
Boy, that's only the 6th. And make that 6. Next one will be 1-1. Dupay rattles out.
And again, you see the open look with Cota guarding.
Owens slashes in. Cota gives it up to Peppers for the jam.
North Carolina doesn't want to go away, but Florida is sensing right now that they're in control of the game, and Billy Donovan has key guys over there on the bench.
Harvey and a reach in on Forte.
Nice piece of officiating there, because Forte's display could have been a tee. Too big a game to call one on that, and the official will go over and talk to him.
Now it'll be a 1-1. That Peppers slam was the first production as far as points from the bench. North Carolina. Harvey 1-1. Talked about in the first game. Hudson, former high school quarterback, and so too was Harvey, option quarterback, but gave it up after a while. Can you imagine?
It was
having to try to stop.
his option whether he'd let you tackle him or not. That was what his option was. I guarantee you, bringing him down. He's got such huge hands. It's amazing he can shoot those free throws. I mean, he just engulfs the basketball, kind of like it's about the size of a volleyball.
Opening up an 8-point lead.
And with Harvey having 5 fouls, I think they should go to Haywood. See if they can get him out of there. They need to get Haywood back into structure. Can't take this much time off the clock.
It's been a 24-8 stretch for the Gators. When once down in this game.
There it is, into Haywood. Good move.
Take a look at the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. And the Florida bench, 36 of the 64 points. Complete stats after the game, cbs.sportsline.com.
Now, Jim, remember the Kentucky team of '96. So deep with, 10, 12 quality players. A lot of times you'll have a bench, and they can come in and, let's say, play defense, or they can come in and give you quality minutes, but they can't come in and give you production offensively. That's the difference between this bench that Florida has, very similar to what Kentucky had in '96. They come in and kill you with offense.
2 misses by Haywood. Actually, 1 of 2. Cota with the steal.
Dupay telegraphed the pass.
Forte. This is a huge shot. 3, no.
Harvey with that rebound. Why it's so important for North Carolina to go inside, try to get him off the floor, because he can really rebound and loves to.
Carolina's already come back in this tournament against one SEC team. That was Tennessee. Down 9 in that game. In the second half late. Lead pass, and Harvey wasn't quite there.
Set play. Again, I think if you're North Carolina, you get that ball down to Haywood, try to get Harvey out of there. Of course, Haslam can come in, and it's not like they fall off when he does. They're double teaming him. Wright's trying to help.
Owen's got it back. And Harvey.
Perfect judgment and timing by Harvey. He loves to rebound, Jimmy. He understands technique. And as John Wooden always says, assume every shot should be missed. And that's what makes him such a good rebounder. He assumes that, and then he goes and gets it.
Great anticipation. Over the top to Miller. Thought about giving it up. Haywood stuffs him. And a tie-up. The arrow to the Gators.
Miller probably should have passed that ball to Harvey, who could have come in with a dunk.
Timeout on the floor. Florida ball up 7 when we come back.
Local breweries. Beer shipped the same day it was born. Refrigerated distribution centers. Daily deliveries. Our exclusive Born on Dating. That's how we guarantee Budweiser is the freshest beer choice out there.
Blockbuster first half by Haywood. He has not taken a shot in this half.
Well, we talked about Haywood touches at the start of this game. They got him in the first half, hasn't in the second half, and it really shows. They're in the zone.
Haslam outside, 9-point lead.
Beautiful passing by Florida. Just dissected the point zone. Capel, who's had trouble against this press.
Forte, he'll come in.
You never notice how Dupay never worries about having to foul out, but anytime a guy drives on him, he attacks the dribbler. I mean, he doesn't go for the block, he goes for the attack, making sure that guy doesn't get on the line. This time, Forte, too good an offensive player to stop.
That's the second and the 10th team. It's double bonus the rest of the way. First freshman to ever lead North Carolina in scoring. The ACC Freshman of the Year will shoot one more. Other Carolina freshmen to win that honor: Sam Perkins, Michael Jordan, J.R. Reed, Ed Cota. ACC Freshman of the Year.
And he broke Sam Perkins' all-time freshman scoring record. And you can see what fatigue does. Even the great shooters get tired, don't have the lift, and it gets to them. We saw that in the Duke game, and now we're seeing it in this game. Again, I'm going to go back to Butler, Jim. They gave Florida the toughest game they had.
So far.
Should not have lost that ball game. They're in perfect position to win it.
6 on the shot clock. Nelson. He looks up. Free. Watch this. Capel with the rebound. Yes, the Gators nearly fell victim to a St. Patrick's Day massacre in Winston-Salem before Miller hit the biggest shot in Gator history. And look at this. 3-point opportunity for Haywood.
Great job by North Carolina to look inside of the big guy, and like you said, he hadn't touched it. When he does, he's productive.
That's his first field goal in over 20 minutes on the game clock.
At 16 at halftime. And now, as I said again, Florida cannot get in foul trouble. You see who's coming back in, a man with 4 fouls. Harvey.
Are they missing big free throws?
Huge. That's 3 in a row. Nelson wanted to take a little time off the clock. North Carolina too tired to chase, but they've got to get stops. And Florida understands that. It's a young team, but they play very smart.
Using Using a lot of clock. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Haslam wants the ball inside with Haywood on him.
And rejected. But in comes Wright. And Wright with the anticipation came after the Haywood rejection.
There was a foul on Haywood, but really not his fault. He made the great block, but tried to go back and cover another man who had the good angle on him, and that's why he picked up the foul.
His fourth. 4 Carolina starters now with 2 minutes, 12 seconds to play with 4 fouls.
And you notice Lang over there on the bench, not in foul trouble, but I think that ankle is to a position that he really can't get back out on the floor. So North Carolina really in bad shape in regard to what they can do with their bench.
The first player to ever commit to Billy Donovan in Florida will shoot 1 more. The coach promised him he would get the players in after him to win a championship before his career at Florida was over. And they are now a little more than 2 minutes away from perhaps closing this one out and playing for the championship Monday night in his junior year.
No, Billy Donovan was denied an opportunity for the championship game when he finished up his career at Providence, getting knocked off in this very game, having played such a sensational NCAA tournament, winning the MVP of his region. But he's in a good position right now.
Dakota, tough shot, all air, and it was not touched by Nelson. Florida ball.
Dakota would much rather penetrate and kick out. But again, those 4 fouls have taken his game away from him completely. And that bench, that revolving door, and the guys in the blue shirts saying how many people are over there in white shirts.
Peppers jumps in quickly. Harvey out for Florida. And Haywood.
I don't think Harvey wanted to come out of this ballgame. I think he relished the opportunity to get in there and banging some more on the boards. But Haslam, a much better passer and catcher of the ball, so Billy Donovan wants ball handlers on the floor.
Hey, he lost control of it. Capel looking for help. Timeout, called time.
He had no place to go on his knees, Jim. He couldn't pivot.
He stood up and a traveling. Don't count the Tar Heels out yet.
You keep an eye on the websites your kids are looking at. You make sure your wife's cell phone battery is fully charged. And you haven't missed a day of work in 12 years. So it comes as no surprise that your auto parts are AC Delco. When the right way is the only way. AC Delco Automotive Parts.
North Carolina ball with 1:43 to go.
Jim, coming into this Final Four, you had Wisconsin that won a national championship in 41. Michigan State had won one in 79. North Carolina won one in 57 with a triple overtime win in Kansas, 82 and 93. But one school that had not won one is the University of Florida. And they are in a position now to certainly find out what it feels like to play for one. Michigan State, by the way, lost to North Carolina in the semifinals back in 1957 in a triple overtime. So North Carolina won 2 games that year in the Final Four, both in triple overtime.
Forte takes the quick 3, and Miller secures it for Florida.
Wright's made some nice judgments since he's come into the ball game as the ball handler. And Billy Donovan wants a timeout just to get his guys in sync as to what they're trying to accomplish here. They've got enough points. They want to use the clock.
What do you see when you look at this? You know what I see? I see America. Things in bulk. Large quantities. Look around you. I'm talking about a belief system. Values, optimism, prosperity, quality. The future.
You see all that in a 48 pack of toilet paper.
Wait till we get to frozen foods.
Can you imagine the emotions in this tournament for Billy Guthridge? His team made the Final Four Sunday in Austin. Monday he flew back to his home of Carson, Kansas, where his mother was laid to rest. She was 96. But he said it was a blessing. She was blind her last 6 years, suffering from Alzheimer's, and he says, I don't think she ever knew that I was a head coach. We told her, but we don't think she ever knew. 30 years he had served as Dean's assistant, and he's had a Final Four, second time in 3 years. But Carolina's had a real struggle trying to get past the semifinal round in recent years, Billy.
They really have. They won in '93, but since that time have not been able to get by the opening round of a Final Four.
And Indianapolis has been particularly gruesome for them, for the Tar Heels. Lost here when the Final Four came to Indy in '91. Kansas beat them. '97, a loss to Arizona. The last team to beat North Carolina, this 4-game win streak through the tournament, was Wake Forest, which ended up going on and winning the NIT championship.
That's right. North Carolina, you know, you think about Duke having and Kentucky having these Final Four appearances. North Carolina, in the last 10 years, been to it 6 times.
1-1, Miller.
Miller has not shot well today, but always his presence out there offensively scares you.
6 times in the last 10 years, and only once getting past this game, over this hump. And that was in '93. Went on to win the championship.
You got to be thinking all threes now if you're North Carolina. And Florida understands that. You can see Parker out on Forte, not letting him get anything off.
Owens.
1 minute.
And again with the fatigue, the jump shots are off. Cota with another one. And Cota spins it over to Forte. 48 seconds.
Well, this is the only strategy you can have, is just hope some of those hit.
Florida
gets
ball.
it back.
Billy Guthridge, who, like Billy Donovan, was on a team that went to a Final Four as a player. He didn't get in the game for Kansas State. Kansas State for Guthridge in '58. Billy Donovan was a most outstanding player of a regional, taking Providence in '87. Experiencing this Final Four. Cota, that last, steps out.
Jim,
Never did pick up that 5th foul, Billy. And now you think of Ed Cota, one of only 7 Carolina players to go to 3 Final Fours.
Jim, the only man in the history of college basketball with 1,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 500 rebounds. So he leaves his intercollegiate career with something that'll be hard to catch.
Think back to Brooklyn Park, the corner of Albany and East New York Avenue, not officially named such, but known by all as Eddie Park, because he spent so much time there. They said he owned the place, and the one thing he wanted to own before he left North Carolina was a national championship. Set all kinds of records with assists. Mother realizes that her son will not get the ring. But up until that 4th foul, he was having an incredible night here.
Oh, he's coming back in the game.
Newby was spelling him for just a moment.
Well, we deserve to give him a tribute anyway, even though he came back. It wasn't his last appearance, but
an encore.
Sensational player.
Here's Cota. See if he can make one. Remember how at the end of the Duke game, it was a tighter situation, and Florida went zone, and Duke's legs so tired, nothing the launch of the jump shot.
A little different now, I think, in terms of North Carolina. I don't think it's the legs as much as the fact that they're just taking desperation shots. In that Duke game, Jim, as a matter of fact, Duke was 3 for 19 from 3 for the game.
Capel fouls out there, Billy. Melendez comes in for him. We're going to have a 5 seed in the final for the first time ever. Miller will shoot 2.
And this Florida club hurts some top offensive player. Desmond Mason, you remember from Oklahoma State, a great offensive player, was 2 for 8, only 9 points against this wave after wave of Florida defenders.
Well, on January 1, the first day of the century, Florida and Michigan State met in the Citrus Bowl, won by Florida 37-34 on a field goal with no time left. Tom Izzo
Well, he thought the game today was football.
Actually, it was won by Michigan State, and Tom Izzo was there to support him. And now here on April 1, they're going to set up the matchup for the national championship.
Look at Harvey with that rebounding technique. Boy, he goes after that ball.
Can't help but keep thinking back about this moment, Billy.
83% free throw shooter on the line.
Dupay to Miller, and Florida wins.
And without that, they are home in Gainesville in the first day of the tournament.
If they win Monday night, will that become the Tyus Edney length of the court buzzer beater over Missouri that became the defining moment of the Bruins championship team of '95?
Absolutely.
Now Cota makes the exit. Subs in for North Carolina. Kenny White comes in. Will Johnson.
And
Jim Everett. Matt Wiskowski.
And Jim, you can just see the difference between the depth of Florida and a team even as high profile as North Carolina. And that was what has brought Billy Donovan's team to the championship game.
Jonathan Holmes also seeing action.
Now, will the veterans of Michigan State be able to conquer that depth?
Oh, swat that out of here with 2 seconds to go. Harvey almost sent that all the way back to midcourt.
Well, remember at Oklahoma State, he did it with an offensive dunk. Here he does it with a defensive swat.
The final game is now set. It will be the Florida Gators against the Michigan State Spartans. So after 62 games, all that remains, Michigan State and Florida. Big Ten against SEC. The Flintstones against Florida for the national championship Monday night in Indianapolis. We'll return to the side of the Final Four with Greg Gumbel in just a moment.